Prabhupada got. Yesterday we read Prabhupada going to Jagannath Puri. After many years of his thinking of going to Puri, now he is going to Puri. Gone to Puri. He walked along the same broad street where for thousands of years the Rath Yatra procession had passed. In the market shops displayed small carved and painted wooden murtis of Lord Jagannatha. Although it was not Rath Yatra season, tourists were um, purchasing souvenirs, and in the temple they purchased Jagannath Prasadam. In the Jagannath temple, 56 gigantic offerings of cooked rice and vegetables were presented daily in worship before the deities of Jagannath, Balarama, and Subhadra. Abhay entered the temple and saw the deities on a side altar. On a side altar stood the Murti of Lord Chaitanya in his six-armed form, manifesting himself simultaneously as Krishna, Rama, and the sannyasi Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya was famous in Puri, where he had spent the last 18 years of his life conducting Hare Krishna Kirtana with his followers and dancing ecstatically at the yearly Radhayatra as the carts were wheeled along the main road. Surrounded by thousands of devotees, Lord Chaitanya had danced and swooned in the ecstasy of his intense love in separation from Lord Krishna. Intense love in separation from Lord Krishna. Passing over the parade route, Abhay recalled his own childhood pastimes, singing and dancing in the street, the miniature cart, the procession, Jagannath smiling, his father and mother Radha Govinda. Somehow, the fame of Lord Jagannatha had inspired him as a child, and it had remained within him all these years. When shall I go to Jagannath Puri? His childhood dreaming of Puri and Vrindavana and his compulsively studying the train tables, scheming since the age of 5 to travel there, were based on more than just a desire to tour Puri's marketplace, and he was not satisfied by once seeing the deity in the noisy, crowded temple. He had been impelled to come to Puri as a pilgrim, and his motive was his devotion to Krishna. Now, nationalism was strongly influencing his life, and he had recently married and was facing the decisions of graduation and career. Yet, here he was hardly more than a boy, walking alone in Puri, where Lord Chaitanya had lived and where Lord Krishna's Jagannath still resided. Abhay released his break from the pressure of duties in Calcutta. He didn't know how the love he felt for Krishna and Krishna's pilgrimage place would fit into his life. He knew that Krishna was more important than anything else. He was God, the supreme controller, and everyone's inner guide. But there was so much token, superficial service to God. Even the nationalist speakers, although they carried the Gita on their person, were more intent on nationalism than on Krishna. Only those who were sincere devotees knew the importance and attraction of Krishna. People like his father. People like his father. And an old incident occurred at Puri. Gaur Mohan had given Abhay a letter of introduction to an acquaintance who lived in Jagannath Puri. Abhay went to see him and was well received. When the man was offering him lunch, however, Abhay noticed a small lump within one of the cooking pots. He questioned his host, who replied, "Oh, it is meat." Abhay was unable to restrain his shock. "No, what is this? I have never taken meat." Abhay looked at his host in astonishment. "I never expected this at Jagannath Puri." Ashamed, his host said, "I did not know. I thought this was the best." Abhay pacified the man. Uh, but he put his food aside and took no more meals there. After that, Abhay ate only the Jagannath Prasadam from the temple. Abhay stayed in Puri for 3 or 4 days, wandering around the holy places and visiting the famous Puri seaside with its sparkling beach and strongly pounding surf. Several times he recognized some of the priests from the Jagannath Puri temple as they smoked cigarettes, and he heard of other unsavory activities of the sadhus connected with the temple. What kind of sadhus were those who eat ate fish with their Jagannath Prasadam and smoked? In this respect, he found Jagannath Puri disappointing. So this is the situation in Puri even those days. Last time, like last month, we visited Puri. We saw a slaughterhouse functioning near Strata Gopinath temple. When Abhay returned home, he found his young wife crying. Then he heard how her friends had told her, "Your husband is not coming back." He told her not to worry. There was no truth in the story. He had only gone for a few days and was now back. Although his marriage had only recently begun, Abhay was dissatisfied. Radharani Dutta was an attractive young girl, but Abhay had never really liked her. He was thinking maybe a different wife would be better, a second wife besides this one. In India, it was socially acceptable to marry a second wife, so Abhay decided to take the matter into his own hands. He made arrangements to approach the parents of another girl, but when his father heard about it, he called Abhay and said, "My dear boy, you are eager to take a second wife, but I would advise you not to. It is Krishna's grace that your present wife is not to your liking. Take it as a great fortune. If you do not become too attached to your wife and the family, that will help you in your future advancement in spiritual life." Abhay accepted his father's advice. He wanted as obey his father, and he appreciated the saintly viewpoint, but he remained thoughtful, a bit awed by his father's forethought, and he wondered how one day in the future he would be advancing in spiritual life, and he and be grateful that his father. That his father had done this. Your future advancement in spiritual life. Abhay liked the idea. He reconciled himself to the wife he had been given. Abhay Charan Dey's name was included on the posted list of students who had passed the BA exams and who were invited to appear for their diploma. But Abhay had decided he didn't want a diploma from Scottish Churches College, although as a graduate he would have a promising career. it would be a British trained carrier. If Gandhi succeeded, India would soon be rid of the British. Abhay had made his decision, and when graduation day arrived, the college authorities learned of his rejecting his diploma. In this way, Abhay neglected his sorry in this way Abhay registered his protest and signaled his response to Gandhi's call. Gandhi's protest had increased its pitch in recent months. During the war, Indians had remained loyal to the crown in hopes of generating British sympathy towards the cause of independence. But in 1919, England had passed the Rowlatt Act to repress the move for Indian freedom. Gandhi had then called on all Indian to observe a hartal, a day in which people all over the country had stayed home from work and school in protest. Although it had been a non-violent protest, 1 week later in Amritsar, in the public square known as Jallianwala Bagh, British soldiers shot to death hundreds of unarmed defenseless Indians who had gathered for a peaceful meeting. Gandhi then lost all faith in the intention of the empire towards India, calling for complete non cooperation. He ordered a boycott of everything British commodities, schools, courts, military honors, and Abhay, in refusing his degree, was moving to align himself more closely with Gandhi's independence movement. But his heart was not in it, just as he had never given his heart to college studies, to earning a degree, or to his wife. So he was reserved about becoming a full fledged nationalist. Abhay had become inclined toward the cause, but never really convinced. Now, out of school, out of work, caring little for his career, education, or wife, he remained at home. He tried his hand at writing poetry for the occasion of a friend's wedding. He read Srimad Bhagavatam and the latest speeches of Gandhi. He had no immediate plans. So let us stop here. Gandhi. Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Gat ki jai. Thai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.